You are comfortably sitting on a couch in your home, watching your favorite TV show and enjoying the moment. It usually turns out that the show is only 1 or 2 minutes away from a commercial break, which disrupts and spoils the experience you have only just begun to enjoy. So whenever you are walking or driving on a street, road, you will always see big banners, hoardings, billboards etc. of the big corporations advertising or campaigning about their product or services. Have you ever thought that how are these advertising impacting your life? Answers to all these questions were already provided to us in 1988 from the movie, They Live. They Live is a 1988 American science fiction action horror film written and directed by John Carpenter. The movie revolves around a man, John Narda, without job who walks around a big American city trying to find something to do. He finally finds a job as a worker and a place to spend the nights, but one day something terrible happens to him. John discovers a pair of sunglasses through which he can see the true face of people. Many persons in this city are in fact aliens, and most of them are important members of our society.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
How are you today, sir?
Okay, how's it going?
Fine, thank you. Thank you, sir.
They keep humans in ignorance and they rule our world as they like. Narda must find the rest of the men that know what's happening and join them in the fight against the aliens. It is to be noted that aliens are used as metaphor for the elites who ruling the world. Narda finally begins to grasp the reality of what he's seeing through the monochromatic lenses when he approaches a magazine stand. There, everything from cigarette cartons, candy wrappers, and paperback books change appearance. With subliminal messages as obey, conform, marry and reproduce, consume, watch television, and sleep. It is through this thought control that the aliens have this world tied up and neatly packaged for its own manipulative users, to further themselves at the expense of the meek, mild and the lowly sufferers of a jobless and hungry world. Millions of dollars are spent every year by the advertising industry on ads. Audiences are bombarded with persuading messages through media such as internet, television, magazines, billboards, radio etc. So, you open up the pages of your favorite magazine, and there are glossy ads for clothes, shoes, cars or gadgets. You turn on television and smiling faces on it try to sell us soap, toothpaste, candy and politicians.
In tonight's By the Numbers, Mayor Michael Bloomberg is spending at a historic rate on ads. 3 months since announcing his candidacy, Bloomberg has already spent $419 million all on ads.
With almost half of UK adults now using social media as a source of news. The main UK-wide parties are certainly taking digital very seriously. Facebook's political advert library shows the Liberal Democrats have spent £67,000 on Facebook advertising in the 3 months to the 24th of October. The Conservatives, £56,000, and the Labour Party, £50,000.
Big brands employ subconscious seduction in our mind to create huge business success. Best example of subconscious seduction from a famous advert, Cadbury's gorilla playing drum, which had no message whatsoever, didn't even show the product, yet managed to achieve 10% increase in sales. That's millions of chocolate bars sold to customers, all subconsciously seduced by gorilla playing the drums. According to research, an average child is exposed to over 40,000 commercials through TV every year. One study even alleges children are spending more time watching TV than they are in school, meaning they are viewing more advertisements.
Kids growing up today are growing up in what has become an overtly extreme media culture. Norwegian kids and teens are taking in massive amounts of media every day. If you add the time they spend watching TV and movies, reading magazines and newspapers, and listening to music, you get an almost constant stream of media consumption, which I am not the only one believing has a huge and most importantly negative effect on the way they see themselves and our perceptions of reality.
How do ads tell us who we are or tell us who we should be?
We see 3,500 of them a day, and the majority of them basically tell us you suck, and if you don't buy this product, you're not going to be rich enough, smart enough, hot enough, and so we walk around being told 3,500 times a day how deficient and lame we are.
Many advertisers these days use beautiful young women to attract buyers. From chocolates to clothing, almost every ad seen is sexual in nature. Children and teenagers then think they need to look that way to be accepted, or that is how they should behave to be popular.
Research indicates that these mixed messages from media are making it really difficult for young girls to negotiate the transition to adulthood. Girls' confidence frequently drops in the preteen years, and instead of focusing on the worth of their knowledge, capabilities, and skills, they begin to base their feelings of self-worth more and more on appearance and weight.
I've been thinking about it after I've seen some numbers in Brazil saying that 65% of women don't feel represented by ads. And that's weird because in the same country, other researchers say that 80% of the buying decisions are made by women.
From police to bankers to talking heads on your TV, the majority of the world's most powerful people are out to brainwash you into consumption and obedience. You come to realize just how much corruption and perversion and exploitation and filth exists in any given society, and have the subsequent realization that most people either don't care or are actively complicit in the process.
Global wealth inequality is getting out of control. The world's richest 1% has more than twice the wealth of 6.9 billion people combined.
Here's one of its extraordinary insights. We are heading into a future dominated by inherited wealth, as capital concentrates in fewer and fewer hands, giving the very rich ever greater power over politics, government, and society.
There's an interesting study the Swiss Institute of Technology did to show that only a handful of financial institutions worldwide hold global corporate control of most corporations in the world, and that of course gives the people who are in charge of these corporations enormous power, and many of them are very famous financial institutions like JP Morgan, Barclays, and so forth.
Global wealth today is estimated at about $260 trillion and is not distributed equally. One study shows that North America and Europe, while they have less than 20% of the world's population, have 67% of the world's wealth. China, which has more people than North America and Europe combined, has only about 8% of the wealth. India and Africa together make up almost 30% of the population, but only share about 2% of the world's wealth.
To what extent do we decide? We tell ourselves that we choose our life course, but is this even true? If you have lived 500 years ago, our view and decisions we made as a result would have been utterly different. Our minds are shaped by our social environment, in particular the belief systems projected by those in powers, corporations, billionaires and media today.